Hey, what is up guys? TechVidKid here, and today we are going to be live streaming about the Apple event that happened today. So, today what happened in the event is they released three new computers, 2 laptops, and 1 desktop. So, let's start by taking a look at the Macbook Air. So I'm just going to be live streaming this from Apple's website. Sorry if there's any lag, this is my first time trying to do this. So, yep, I can see that the stream is lagging behind a little bit. Okay guys, so now we'll just go ahead and select a random one. I'm not actually going to be clicking the buy button since I can't afford these at the moment. Well, I don't feel like buying them. Okay guys, so now that we're on the page, here is basically what's new. So the MacBook Air has basically the same design as the early 2020 Intel MacBook Air. It has a M1 system on a chip with an 8-core CPU, 7-core GPU, 3.5 times faster CPU, 5 times better GPU. You can select from 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM, 6 hours of battery. It's fanless, and it starts at the same $999 price. It has iOS apps with the new Intel ARM CPU. I can see that Life of Finn is currently online. He is on the stream. Hello there, Life of Finn. So, since it has a new CPU and GPU, this is on the M1. It's integrated into the M1 system on a chip. So that's why it's called a system on a chip, because it has both the CPU and the GPU put onto one chip that's soldered in the board. So, then let's just go ahead and move on. So it has 8 or 16 gigabytes of, instead of some type of DDR5, DDR4 memory, it has 16 or 8 gigabytes of unified memory. And then for storage, we have the options of 256 gigabyte SSD, 512 gigabyte SSD, 1 terabyte SSD, and a 2 terabyte SSD. The keyboard you can select from a variety of languages, which I can't. Well, actually, you know what? I have time. So, US English, Arabic, British, Chinese Pinyin, Chinese Julian, Danish, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Swiss. And then now with the MacBook Air, you have the option, since they have a better CPU and GPU, you have the option of Final Cut Pro 10 and Logic Pro 10. Since these have more powerful CPUs and GPUs, because in the early 2020 models, they had only enough CPU processing power for it to be able to run iMovie editing software, so it couldn't run anything else. So it also has the Retina display with True Tone. And the battery is also, the keyboard is also backlit. It has Touch ID, a Force Touch trackpad, 2 Thunderbolt / USB 4 ports, and that's basically it for this. And it has a 16-core neural engine. So now let's move on to about the new MacBook Pro 13-inch. Also, on a side note that I didn't mention, you can still get a more upgraded version of the Intel Macs, but you can't get them for under $1,000 anymore. Well, except for the Pros, because the Pros, they were always over $1,000. Instead, for the Pros, they have the $1,700 option, and that's the 4 Thunderbolt 3 port model. So they didn't actually upgrade those, nor did they upgrade the 16-inch models. 16-inch models are still the same as last year. So let's go ahead and click on select. So it also has the same design as last year's model. It has the same 8 or 16 gigabytes of unified memory option, 256 gigabyte SSD storage, 512 gigabyte SSD storage, 1 terabyte SSD storage, and a 2 terabyte SSD storage. It has the same keyboard options, which are also backlit. It has Final Cut Pro 10, as always, and Logic Pro 10. So this comes with the new, also has the new M1 system on a chip with, instead of a 7-core GPU on the Air, it has a 8-core GPU on the Pro, and then an 8-core CPU, 16-core neural engine, and it has the touch bar on it, and Touch ID, and it has 2 Thunderbolt 3/USB 4 ports. So it has a 2.8 times faster CPU, a 5 times faster GPU, 20-hour battery life, new webcam ISP, just like on the new MacBook Air, 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it has active cooling system, which means from the second you power it up, the machine up, you will be able to have cooling. The cooling fans will be automatically enabled. So it's still both have the original colors. So yeah, pretty much about that. So now let's move on to the new MacBook. The new Mac Mini, the first desktop computer to receive the Apple Silicon update. So, starting it off, the Mac Mini now comes in silver instead of the regular space gray that it used to come with. Here they still have a version of the space gray, but it's still over $1,000 now, so just like the Air's models. So instead now we have silver, and it's $100 less than last year's model. 2 years ago's model. So it's $100 less. And if you want an upgraded model with 512 gigabytes, instead of having to pay $300 more, you just pay $200 more, which is $100 less on the upgrade too. So let's go ahead and click on select. So it has the same M1 SoC with the 8-core CPU, 8-core and the 8-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, and it has 8 or 16 gigabytes of optional memory, which you can choose 16 or 8. And then you have the options on storage. You have 256 gigabyte SSD, 512 gigabyte SSD, 1 terabyte SSD, 2 terabyte SSD. And you also have the regular, which you can choose Final Cut Pro 10 or Logic Pro 10. So then, on all of them, they now all support iOS apps due to the Apple Silicon ARM chip, which is built into the iPad and iPhone. So, since that's available, you can now save $5 when you're playing Among Us, if anybody actually is watching and actually plays that right now. Barely anybody that I know plays it. So, then we have, and also I've been hearing rumors about the new Apple Silicon chips, and they've been saying that you might not be able to download apps off of the internet anymore. You can only download them from the Apple App Store. And that's kind of weird, since that kind of makes no sense because of the fact that Apple doesn't, they normally don't do that. Like, whenever they switched from PowerPC to Intel back in 2006, they didn't do that. You could still download from the internet, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Only ways to find out whenever somebody on YouTube gets it, because I won't be able to get this. So, it has a 3 times faster CPU, a 6 times faster GPU, the same cooling system, and pretty much the same design as last year, other than what I was telling you guys before about, instead of space gray, they had silver. And they have a different I/O sheet, a different amount of I/O, and different I/O in general, which is the ports, if those of you don't know. For those of you who don't know, so now, instead of the power port, the port for power being sideways, it is now normal. It has Ethernet, and it only has 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports instead of last year's 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports. Has a headphone jack. It has a ventilation grill here where the ventilation goes out and pulls in more ventilation. And then we have an HDMI port, a single HDMI port, yes I know, and 2 USB 3.0 ports. Here's a better look at them. And then here on the side, we have the power button, which basically everybody knows what a power button does. Almost everybody. So it also has gigabit Ethernet. It has 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM, which you can select. It's all unified on all of them. And it's 60% more efficient than last year's Mac Mini, according to Apple. And all of these products should be shipping around November 17th or 18th, around next week. So, if you guys know anything, would like to know anything, then please just tell me in the chat, the live chat, because you can ask me any questions about the new Macs in the chat or in the comments below. Barely anybody would actually be watching this right now, so. Okay, so after that, so both of the laptops, their prices are the same. The Mac Mini, which is the only desktop, is the same price, is actually $100 less. And next year we should be seeing a new ARM 16-inch MacBook Pro and a new ARM Mac Pro. 16-inch MacBook Pro and a new Mac Pro with ARM in it. And they will be still shipping Intel products until around 2023 is what people are estimating. The iMac and supposedly the iMac Pro will also have the ARM chip by next year or the year after, because of what, and this is all said from the event that happened back in June of this year. Tim Cook, whenever he was on stage, he said that it would take around 3 years to complete the transformation from Intel to ARM. So, yeah, new webcam ISPs on all of them, which reduces noise in the photos and makes the quality a bit better on stuff like FaceTime, or if you're doing live broadcasts using the webcam, which I don't know, some people might. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I kind of also want to cover a bit on the new iPhones. So let's go ahead and click on iPhone, since I won't be covering on the iPads and Apple Watches, since it's already way too late to do that. So the new iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max will be having Dolby Vision, so will the 12 and 12 mini. So all of them will come with the brand new Dolby Vision. The 12 Pro series will have a new LiDAR scanner, and it'll have 3 cameras and a flashlight on the back. It comes the 12 Pro series. So let's go around the 12 Pro series first. Let's check out the 12 Pro series first, and then we'll move on to the other 12s, the 12 series. Okay, so first of all, the iPhone 12 Pro will have a 6.1-inch display, and the new 12 Pro Max will have a 6.7-inch display. And 12 Pro will start at $999. The 12 Pro Max will start at $1,099. And depending on what you do, the maximum price for it. So the colors that you can choose are silver, graphite. So they have officially removed space gray from the new iPhone line. So it's only graphite now. So silver, graphite, Pacific blue, and gold. Pacific blue is just here to replace rose gold, as it was replaced a long time ago. So I'm just going to select silvers to continue. And then after that, you have a few special offers from your carriers, or you could do SIM-free. And now for the first time in iPhone, the base model is starting at 128 gigabytes of storage space. So, and then you could also upgrade to 256 gigabytes of storage or 512 gigabytes of storage. And then after that, you could do trade-in too. And the maximum cost that you would be able to pay for an iPhone 12 Pro would be $1,299, unless you add this Apple Care Plus. And then after that, going to the 12 Pro Max, it has all of the same colors, same offers. It's just that it hasn't been fully released yet. It's only available for pre-order right now. So then you have the same storage options, just that the prices are a little bit higher, $100 more, and it has all of the other payment options. So $1,399 is the max that you could pay for that. So then I could go back, and now I can talk about the iPhone 12 series. So all of these new phones have 5G built into them, and since they have 5G, apparently gaming on the internet will be faster if you're using your 5G network, which I don't think people would actually do that, because that would just waste their data. So here we have the options: the iPhone 12 and then the 12 mini. So 12 mini starts at $700 and the 12 starts at $800. So if we go into iPhone 12, we have 5 options instead of 4. We have white, black, green, blue, which kind of looks like Pacific blue, and product red. Wow, they've removed product red from the Pro and Pro Max series. So then, you're paying $830 if you're not activating your phone. That's kind of weird. The starting price for an iPhone 12, the starting model is still 64 gigabytes on the regular 12. So, the maximum you could pay for a regular 12 would be $979. And then the 12 mini, which is apparently the world's smallest 5G smartphone. So here we have you can have all of these special offers, same colors, and same storage. It's just that for a lower price. So the maximum you could pay here is $879. So these new phones all have Dolby Vision, as I said before. Their screens are 1:1 million contrast ratio. So that's a lot of contrast. And then they have the new camera system. So due to that, that's basically where Dolby Vision comes in with the new camera system. I've talked way too much about the camera system. So that's pretty much going to be it for this live stream. Thank you all for coming. Out of the 2 people that did join. And I hope to see you in a future video. Bye. And also make sure to like, subscribe, and stay safe out there. Bye.